Hello and welcome to the Guitar Collection. If you've been watching this channel for a little while, you might have noticed that many of the instruments I get in are really top-level concert guitars that frankly are out of the budget for most people that are either just looking for that next step up type of guitar or an instrument at the very least that you're not going to level out of in like a year or two of classical guitar study. Now, the guitars to my left and right here are Spruce and Cedar top guitars of the same model by the Thai company Fonzo Guitars. I'm on the lookout for these types of instruments that don't break the bank, that have some great modern features, are very easy to play. But to be honest, they are very hard to find. There's a lot that advertise a lot of these characteristics, but they cut corners places, and they're in places that you really don't want to cut. So I have to be very selective about what I recommend to you all, what I show to my friends and my colleagues that are professional guitarists. And I have to say, I would highly recommend these guitars. I had one for about a year that I would play. I kept it at the back of my room here. I'd play it quite often. I would share it with friends. Everyone would guess that they're worth much more. And it also didn't develop any cracks or damage over time from normal everyday use, which is another quality control type of thing that you want to look out for. Now, this company is actually ran by a colleague of mine who is a professional guitarist, and him and his team check out every single one of these instruments to make sure they meet standards. And that's a really important thing to do because if there's little details that are off, these are simply instruments that get rejected. Now, I have to tell you, these instruments have really great modern features, but a traditional voice. They have raised fingerboards. Now, those that know the market to some degree might know that this is a difficult feature to find on this price point of guitar. Most of the time, you only find raised fingerboards on guitars that are $5,000 and up. I have to say, it is a really nice premium feature, and while they're not the end-all be-all for me, I mean, you can play all of the notes without a raised fingerboard. I do it all the time. Some of my favorite guitars don't have a raised fingerboard, but it's one of those features that if you're looking for great playability, it really helps you reach the higher frets on these guitars. Now, there are a few other details I'd like to share with you about these guitars before I go ahead and play some more passages on these and actually compare this Cedar and Spruce guitar. But I'm going to set one of these down here so that I can show you some details up close. One thing that'll definitely strike you is this rosette with the green touches, with the wheat pattern going along the center. You'll notice that along the bindings and purflings of this guitar, this green pattern that just borders the guitar, it gives it this like halo effect. And then when you look down at the bridge, you'll see the tie block has this really nice pearloid or abalone pattern that's in a rectangle that sort of goes along that tie block. And really all of these little details add up to make you feel like you're really holding a beautiful quality instrument. And it is certainly that. I also want to mention the top is French polished, which you often also don't find at this price point. The back and sides have a polyurethane finish, which is very, very resistant, and many modern makers are even turning to. Speaking of the back and sides, it has a really nice Indian rosewood. This is very dark, and actually if you look through the photos, it's a beautiful piece of wood here. Of course, I mentioned it has a raised fingerboard. This is huge. The necks are also very nice and round and C-shaped. They are thin and just easy to play. And when it comes to picking out your next step up guitar or just your first real guitar for yourself, it has to be easy to play. Now, while there are some instruments out there that are notoriously harder to play that you might look for that extra bit of sound you get out of them, this is not the time to do it when you're getting this mid-level guitar. Just get a great instrument that's easy to play that inspires you to pick it up every day. It also has a dot on the 7th fret so that you can find your way around the fingerboard a little bit easier. And then when you move on up to the headstock, you'll notice this shape that actually is very similar to Antonius Mueller's guitar. I think it's inspired by that. And you'll also see this little inlay on the headstock that reminds you what guitar you're playing. And then when you move on up to the tuners, they are easy to tune. They're nothing fancy. They're not Rogers or Scheller's tuners or anything like this, but they work extremely well. And sometimes when you play guitars in this price point or below or even higher sometimes, when you tune those tuners, They're squeaking, they're creaking, and you hear, you hear all these sorts of things. Of course, that's not just from the tuner, it's also from the way the nut is cut. And listen. None of that. This is a very well put together guitar. So I think that just about covers the specs. Like I said, I have a few of these guitars in stock right now, and whenever you're watching this video, I'm sure I either have stock of them or I have a new stock coming. So just click the link in the description and you can see what's available now. And now, for the fun of it, I'm gonna go ahead and test these two guitars, the Cedar and Spruce top, see what the difference is between them. Keep in mind that everyone gravitates towards different sounds. And also, some people just match better with certain guitars. So that might be the case for you, but maybe this gives you a better idea and helps you choose which one you would like to get. Definitely let me know what you prefer down in the comments, because that's always very interesting. Some videos, it's very split. Sometimes everyone thinks the Spruce is clear and the Cedar's warmer. I'd love to hear what you think. I'm really happy to be representing Fonzo Guitars here in North America. And well, let's jump to some playing. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.